So hi everyone, good morning.
Good morning.
Today we're gonna discussion the case study we work leadership case study in Adams Newman's rise and fall as a CEO of the company. From which sources did Newman draw power? Which influence tactics did he use to gain followers and investors' support?
Yeah, he drew power from multiple sources. First, he had legislative power as the CEO and founder of WeWork. His position gave him formal authority. The second, he had a referent power, which came from his charisma and the strong personal image he built. People admired his boldness and vision. Third, he had used reward power. We're offering perks and high salaries and attract top talent. For example, Nuwan convinced major investors like SoftBank's Sun to invest over $4 million after just a short meeting. Sun said uh, he invested because of Neuron's crazy energy that shows the strength of his influence tactics. He used inspiration and personal connection to get people on board. Do you think Chashma is enough to build trust with investors?
Um, I mean, to answer the question as well,
Yeah.
I I find it funny that you said it was a rise and fall. I personally enjoyed the case for one, and I thought it was very, very interesting. Yes, so the question you asked about what source that Newman drew power from, just like Shruti said, I think that he drew power from like he had a referent power due to his charisma and the movement or the vibe he had around WeWork. I also think he had legitimate power, which part of being CEO or being a founder of a company means that you have charisma as well. Um, Also, I think through promotions and the growth of the company, the rapid growth of the company, and the access to the kind of large projects that they had was also a source of power, or that validated his power as a CEO, like the legitimate power as a CEO and as a founder as well. I also think he was able to build very high connections as well. So he also leaned into his connection power by partnering with like high profile investors and also the media, which I think sometimes make it look like an expert power. And I think also why I would say expert power was also how he was able to position the company about the narrative he was able to create around what WeWork does, calling it a tech and a lifestyle company. And most people would reduce it to saying at the end of the day, it's just a real estate subleasing company. What do you mean? But for him, he didn't just see it, he didn't position the company as a real estate company. He didn't say all we're doing was giving out tables and rooms. He said what we are doing is a tech lifestyle company. That's what Nigerians call packaging, like making your brand look way bigger than what it actually is. And I think that's the power of an expert. Not everybody can pull that. So I think that's also the power of an expert as well. Um, Generally, I think it was very inspirational too. He was a great leader. He was inspirational, and he had both strategy and tactics to be able to lead the company.
Yeah, I think he was really smart. Of course, he built in a 15 billion company. I think the way he used his strategy or his power to make everyone to believe that they are part of the project, that was amazing. It's no everyone who has this type of power to like make everyone that you try to convince to support or invest in the company realize that, oh, I can be the part of the company, right? So I think he has those inspiring talks with everyone, and um the way he know what he wanted, so he dreamed big. So knowing that, like he wasn't sure if he can be that succeed, but he believes so. So that's why it's unique characteristic for him.
Just by an aside, I think Newman would have been a good founder if he was if he wasn't in, do you think he would have been a great founder if he wasn't the one leading? Like, what if he was like a silent partner or like a stakeholder? Do you think he would have still had the same effect he had on the company?
I think he will.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. We can move on to the next question.
I think you may. So, from the perspective of trade theories, how would you evaluate Newman's? So, which traits did he possess? Which traits he's be lacking of? Like what his lack of? So,
Yeah. From the trade perspective, he had strong confidence and ambition and some creativity. Traits common in successful entrepreneurs. However, he lacked humility and emotional balance and his overconfidence and integrity. Maybe those are also essential leadership traits. For example, he trademarked the word we and sold it back to his own company for 5 millions. That shows greed and ego, not humility. Compared to Satya, the Microsoft CEO, who knows for humility and emotional intelligence. That's a big contrast. And I have a question for you. Can overconfidence be a strength?
For me or for Carolina?
Yeah, anybody can.
I think overconfidence is both a strength and a weakness at the same time. I think it could be both. There's a fine
Mm,
line with everything, not just overconfidence. For everything that is a pro, if you like something too much, it becomes a weakness. Like if you love a particular thing too much, if you don't know how to manage it, it becomes a weakness. That's what
mm,
it was with overconfidence. Overconfidence helps him out in doing things like fundraising or like bold expansions into regions that some people did not visualize, like they didn't see it coming at first. So that's overconfidence. But at some point, you need to be able to tell where your company is and what you're selling to investors. So overconfidence helps him to move the company, but he still needed to learn some level of humility, which he didn't have. So overconfidence doesn't take you all the way there. It helps you to an extent, but there's always a line. You need to find a balance between such strength, else it becomes a weakness. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah. Um, yeah, the way he believes on himself, like strong confidence that is, I think, part of where he was able to get into, like, and build the company. But I think he has low self-control. Because the way that he try to, I think sometimes he believe it too much, and like ignore the, like the base parts of what is a be, like be a leader. But it's everyone have different characteristics. But I think that what you how you both say about confidence, that was a great point. I believe that too.
I mean, just to summarize on this particular question, for traits, it clearly had them. I'm referencing back to some of the points in the textbook. It clearly had surgency, like the dominance and the high energy. He had that. He also had the achievement drive as well, and he had a very strong need for power. Personally, I don't think Norma would have been a good follower, for God's sake. I just personally think he was born to be a leader. Like he had that drive. So he had that very high drive and energy for it and the need for power. Also, I think he lacked humility, like Shruti said, he lacked humility. He also lacked a bit of integrity as well. Like I think his integrity line wasn't as strong. Um so pretty much, I think that would be my own conclusion as well.
So you mean a lack of ethics as well?
Yeah, a bit.
Maybe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
So, which behaviors did he exit? Which behaviors did he fail to exit?
Yeah. He showed transparential behavior early. He motivated people with his dream of changing work and culture. But later he became autocratic and self focused. He stopped listening to others. Even senior executives said it was impossible to challenge him. That's a behavior failure. A good leader should invite feedback, right? Maybe he not. He also mixed personal life with the work, hosting parties and blurring boundaries. Compare that to Tim Cook at the Apple, who leads quickly and sets a professional example. Thus, difference shows how behavior shapes culture. Maybe a behavior destroy culture they built because of his overconfident, self-focused, and he mixed his work with the personal life. Yeah.
Mhm.
He ended up doing like more selfish choices
Yeah.
when the company was going on. But um,
Um, I mean, the question says, what behavior did he exhibit versus fail to exhibit as well, right? So
mhm.
personally, I think he was good at initiating structure. Not everybody can start a company, and in a couple of years you can already see like the goals being set and being achieved at the same time. So I think he knows how to bring people together, how to motivate people, how to sell a dream to people, like, oh, this is what we are building here, and I think he wants to be a part of it. So he was good at selling the dream of the company to people. He was good at initiating structure as well. He was also very good at setting very good goals, like audacious goals. Like, I think he was good at that. I also think he was able to keep the noise around the company loud enough. Like, sometimes when you build a company and everyone's talking about it, you need to maintain a particular script for you to always be top of mind. So he was also good at keeping WeWork in the eyes of both customers and investors and company for a really long time. Not everybody can do that. Sometimes your trajectory could be high and then it drops. But for him, he was able to stay high for the longest. So I think he was able to tell the story and keep the story as loud as anybody should. I also think he was good with communication, but he might not have been honest with it. Like, he was communicating, but honesty was lacking there. I think somewhere in the article, the company was supposed to be publicly invested. I mean, the IPO. He had gone ahead to like talk about it, but clearly internally they were not ready for it. Internally the numbers were not adding up, or the decision making process, he wasn't disciplined enough. Like, that was when you now find out that, oh, financial controls and all the risk that was involved with going public, the company lacked it. So I mean, he was he was audacious, but he wasn't honest with where the company was at the same time. So yeah, I think those were some of the traits that he had, and the ones that he did not exhibit as well.
I think he actually getting a point. He stopped like even like listen feedbacks or listen, like his partners or the company. Why you guys think why he changed it? Because he at the beginning, do so, I don't know if you guys ever heard, but people say like how much power do you have, less than you care about others. So I don't know it's gonna be the key. I mean, I don't know if you everyone think the same, but why do you think that he changed that behavior? Like once he's growing, then he stop listen, listen feedbacks and all those things. Why you think? Why?
I personally think he never listened.
Yeah.
No, I'm so sorry. I personally think at no point did he ever listen to anybody. And I don't even mean company wise. The article tells us about his background from the beginning, the kind of life that he had. He was a college dropout. Not a lot of people are college dropouts, but not a lot of them go on to build $1 million companies at the end of the day. So he already had it in him. He was stubborn. He was very dogged. It was always his way. He dropped out of school. He tried out so many things before he eventually found WeWork, like before he eventually built a company. So I think that attitude has probably been in him for the longest. It wasn't something, it was only made obvious because now there's a company that and there's a bunch of people he's leading. So obviously that character trait came out. But before, the character trait was probably just dominant in only himself, and it wasn't everyone's problem. It wasn't an investor problem, it wasn't a media problem, it wasn't a company problem. So he always had that trait. It just became
Yeah.
more highlighted because he was leading a company. I think he has always had it from the beginning. It wasn't the power that changed him.
Yeah. In my
I don't think he
opinion, the
changed.
people will listen to the past. When you get success, they won't listen to anyone. They won't take any feedback. They think I'm the right. I can do whatever I want, but they won't take any feedback from us.
But I don't think he would grow the company the way he did if he was, super serb, or he was, like no self, like super selfish, or, like if he didn't even like try to be kind of kind with others. I don't think he'll get the way he was if he has a lack of this, or maybe he's hiding to get the point where he get. But like everyone have your own personality, everyone have how you behave with others. But I think some part of your life you need to change who you are a little bit to get the point where you get. I don't think he will be that selfish at the beginning. Do you imagine if he said like try to get an investment, like, hey, if you want to invest in my company, fine. If you don't wanna, then I don't care. I will find somebody else. I don't think he did that at the beginning, at the least. So I think he tried to be a better listener in
So it's funny enough, I think he did. I think he did. I think he sounds like somebody who was talking to investors and is like, "Are you going to invest or not? We're about to launch into Mars. So if you don't put your money on us, you're going to miss out of the big things that's coming to the company." I feel like that's how he went about fundraising. Like
okay.
that guy was never humble. Like he was nothing about his character seems like humility. I'm so sorry, nothing. I can sit down on this call. I can sit down on this call and tell you I'm a very humble person. I'm gentle. I'm kind. Give me $1 billion company. Excuse me. And my true character will come out. So I really, really, really do not think that it was humble at any point. Um, Also, I think that his character is why the company got to where it was. He got there really fast, though. That's like a more humble person would not have taken the company that far within that space of years. They would have done it within a longer time. But he was able to take the company fast, and probably that was why it fell fast as
Mm.
well. But I'm someone who was maybe way more humble, who listened to people more, who would have probably done it in 5 more extra years than he did. Maybe more sustainable. Today would have been more sustainable than him. But yeah, I think his character also contributed to the size of the company, to how big the company became.
Here he built his $1 million dream, but he lost because of his ego and emotions.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
fell himself.
So considers Newman in light of contemporary leadership approach and concepts. Specifically, how would you rate Newman's in terms of his humility, ethics, and followers' behaviors?
Mm.
You want to go first, Carolina?
Yeah, you can.
So you want me to talk first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Yeah, so I think he had a low humility, like because he thought that he could do anything, right? Like he always believed that. So and also like his ethics were poor, is in I think he lack of like he starts to low his ethic behavior, like how much he's growing the company. And so, and also he has like those risk of, like when he's trying to deal with financial choices, and also take like those selfish choice. I think that was what he he even could have lost easily his followers, right? Like he wasn't as a good as a he's still leader because of his personality, like we're talking about. He sings like more than 20%. He born as a leader, but um the way that he do things without even asking, or take taking no opinion for his followers, that was his downside. So I think that was what leader his bad choice, bad
Yeah,
decisions and choice as well.
I agree with you. He broke the trust of the employees.
In the trust, yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
his followers also changed. At first, they admired him. Later, they stayed silent. That sign of a toxic culture where people fear speaking up.
I think I also agree. For humility, I think his humility level I would rate him a low.
Mhm.
Because he wasn't humble. Like we've established that he had like a savior figure, or he had very he was just not humble. There's no other way to put it. So I'll rate him a low on that. For ethics, um, I think I would say a low as well. Does anyone think otherwise?
No, no, no. I think he's ethical. He is really low in ethics. In
Yeah.
accord, like I say, the company is getting bigger and he has less ethics. That's why he's use all his start to use the companies in on his own on behalf. Like he was doing the things for personal use more than the company in general. So and
Yeah,
that wasn't what he talked with everyone. He tried to convince his investors, right? So he at the beginning want to try to make everyone be in his side, and then after he started to thinking more of himself, so he become more selfish than smart in taking doing smart choice as well. But
he tried himself to sell his company for her for millions
Yeah.
of.
Sorry, go on. Were you saying something, Shruti?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I
okay.
said he sell for his own selfishness for his company to millions.
Oh, okay.
He didn't think about anybody.
So what would you rate him for like followers behavior? What do you think the behavior of his followers were like?
He lacked in both ethics and what humility.
Yeah.
Both, as I said, he broke the trust of employees.
I okay, he did break the trust, but at the beginning, he was able to. There was like strong identification on the we mission. Like he used to tell them, "Oh, we can do this. We can do this." That's motivation, right?
yeah, I rate his ethics for sure. At the beginning 7, and then at the end 3. Because he needs to be ethical to start the way he started. You know what I mean? Like he
In the
can
end, the followers also changed, right?
yeah,
At
6 and
first,
3 maybe.
they used to admire him. Later, they stayed silent because he has signed for something to sell his company.
How much 0 to 10, Stephanie will rate him etiquette? Speaking about etiquette.
For his ethics, I think I'm just going to leave him on a 4 to 5,
Okay.
which
Maybe
Like
is
I'm from
overall,
3 to 4.
the
yes,
whole you don't think he changed it? You don't think he changed it? He's still unethical?
no, yes,
Okay.
I would leave him
Maybe
on a
at
5.
the peak point when he realized.
Yeah, I think he never had
And you
ethics
like
from
it
the
him,
beginning.
huh?
I do. I mean, I just think that like that it was an average. Like it was an average. He always didn't have the ethics, but it wasn't made obvious until towards the end. He was always like that. He didn't change. I think it was just always like that from the jump. That's for ethics. Humility as well. I would give him like a 6 as
Yeah.
well for that. Do we rate him as well based on followers' behavior?
No, I think that's
He has a
good.
great strength, but due to his ego, he broke it.
Oh
Now
yeah, they
one
came. He brought in people into the company with the mission of we're doing it together. And then when they get into the company and they've been working, they're like, "But this is not what I signed up for. It is eventually always you. It is not us. It's not a we thing. It's not what awful. What I don't know if that makes sense, but he brought them in, but the motivation wasn't sustainable towards the end. So
Yeah. So now my favorite topic, that's emotional intelligence. So do you see issues with Newman's emotional intelligence? And you guys can explain about it.
Mm, Here, the emotional intelligence includes self awareness, regulation, and empathy. He has charming, but he did not manage his emotions. He acted impressively. He also lacked empathy. Employees said he cared more about his image than their concerns. Where it's been very poor for me.
For me, I think overall, he low emotional intelligence is a big part of what the company falls like fell because like the emotional intelligence for everyone, it's a base of stability. Like that's the way you're gonna control, that's the way you're gonna behave with people, that's the way you will like that's the way you are going to have the peoples under you control, but you can also be like a good partner, a good leader from them. So I think once you low as emotional intelligence or you lack of that's exactly, I think for me, since I think I take emotional intelligence is a big concern for me. I think that was one of the main reasons the company was fell at the end, and knowing that growth so fast. I think that's exactly what the roller coaster coming from, right? So once he starts show more weak, like his emotional intelligence wasn't stable the way that's supposed to, then when he start get all those downsides of the company. So I think
Yeah.
that was one of the
He
big.
had strong social skills, but not empathy and control over him.
Yeah, I think if he has a low more self control, that
Yeah.
he will avoid the company he will work to collapse, like to end it, right? Like to get the way it was at the end. But what about you, Stephanie?
Yeah, I agree with most of what both of you have said. I think based on his emotional intelligence, um, self-awareness and self-regulation looked very, I would say, limited. Um, his social awareness was strong for like persuasion. Like he had social awareness. He was able to persuade people, but he wasn't listening. Like you can persuade people to believe in your vision, but you're not listening to what they have to say or what they think. So I think he wasn't listening to like people. It was always his way, my way, or no other way. Like almost like every other person on the team, both investors or followers didn't have any input that was needed or that could help him or the company out. It was always things were always done his way. And I think that is probably what people struggled with. You don't want to be in a team where your input is not wanted, is not appreciated, or doesn't seem like it is valuable. So I think that's one of the issues that I had. Like it was good for persuasion, but it wasn't good for the continuity of the relationship with said people. And when I say people, I mean both employees and also like investors and so many other things. I think his relationship management, like he was able to work with people, but at some point that also like dropped as well. Both with the board members and stakeholders, and even when the company tried to go public, all of that just became, it was just a small problem, but then it just exacerbated into something like really, really, really big, and that's why the company just came crashing, truly. So yeah, that's pretty much what I think.
I don't think he ever realized how his actions will impact the employers or the investor or even the company, because no one will build in anything if they realize they will broken in some point, right? There is no n- like no one will like start a company and if like, you know what, if I didn't change my behavior, I don't think this company gonna still open in 5 years. Nobody will do. So uh he has like no clue
Mm.
what could have happened according to his actions. So that's not that's not the way it's supposed to. So now let's go to, do you think a fellow leader can still make a positive impact on an industry?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe even though he failed, he made strong, lasting impact. He proved that demands for flexible co-working spaces. The industry still thieves today, right? His story made investors more cautious. After WeWork's collapse, the tech world looking for real results, not just the hype. Maybe that's a positive outcome in a way.
I mean, first of all, yeah, we are reading about him. So isn't that impact of some sort? At the very least, the kind of leader you don't want to have, or the kind of person you don't want to work for. So I think that even though the company failed, it did make an impact. Like now
Yeah.
we're reading about him and we know what we want, whether as a leader or as a follower or as an investor, you know the kind of person you want to work with. So I
We
think
are
that's somewhat an impact. Anyway.
yeah. We are
Um
using him as a good example, but a bad
yeah,
example too. But it's still talking about him. Yeah.
Yeah.
there are a lot of leaders that are good that I don't know if we read about because they are playing, they're too good. There are a lot of people. So now we need the outliers. We need the ones that are not so good so that we can study them. I'm kidding. Um But yeah, I think it did make an impact. I also think that, do you think it would change if it was to build another company now, a different company? Again, if it was to start another company, do you think he will be a change person?
I don't think he will change who he
Me
is, his
too. I don't think it's going to
personality.
change.
No, it doesn't
Yeah, he
matter.
won't.
He could have been the CEO of Apple, right? Which is has already a lot power in his like the company itself, right? So I don't think even though he will be a good CEO or leader because of his personality, who he is. So I don't think it does really matter which, but building the We Work, the company, I think that is because of his behaviors and his personality, he he was able to build this unique company. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if he was a leader of any other company or any other company that's already started, maybe won't be that successful because he used his wrong personality on his favor. I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what would you have done differently if you are leading will work?
Mm.
That's a tough one.
Who wants to go first? Not me. I'm still thinking. Um, if I was leading we work, first of all, Norman has to take a back seat. That's the first thing we do. He doesn't necessarily have to lose his job, but he's just not going to be in charge of talking to people, like leading the followers. It won't be a direct leader that you have to see. I'll probably have him just leading maybe fundraising, public speeches, PR and marketing. I'm just not gonna have him having to deal with the followers. I don't know if that makes sense. We have a vision, we discuss it. He goes to talk to investors, he tries to make us look good in public. Then I will probably handle like managing people and breaking down some of those goals into tasks to other people. That's one. I also think that audit will be done more seriously. If we're going to go public, I'm going to make sure we are very hell bent on what we can do and what we cannot do. I don't want you selling expectations and selling dreams to people. So obviously there'll be a short leash for that. So he might be leading conversations publicly, but you are not allowed to sell vision that we cannot achieve or we cannot um achieve together as a team. Once or twice, if he's done that, he loses his job, man. Like you just have to go because clearly that's a personality. But at the same time, if I was CEO of a company, I think that you also need to talk to your followers and ask them what they think about the company. Like ask them for feedback as well. That's definitely something I would do.
Okay. So, what about you, Shirley?
Yeah. I would separate personal life with the business from far away from business. I won't include it. And spreading, yeah, I have this. I
That's
have
right. It is. If I was me, I will definitely focus on more a long term succeed than just like, oh, I need to grow. I want my company be number one. I think he focused too much in grow fast than a long term success, right? That's why he started behaving the way he was. Um, but definitely I will focus also in missions, in visions, in like set up articles and more rules, more self grow, like his personal grow, and of course trade his personality. But yes, but I think that's all, guys. That was a
Yeah.
good discussion, and yeah, I hope you guys have a great day.
Um, okay. I think it's up to 30 minutes.
Yeah, more.
Okay, that's all I wanted to. Thank you.
Thank you,
I'll send the
guys.
reference
Thank
to you.
you.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.